When I was a little boy, I used to love to spend hours observing the animals and the birds and especially the little bugs. One of my most treasured possessions was a gift I received one Christmas from my great-grandmother. It was called an ant farm. Do you remember those? It consisted of 2 pieces of clear plastic placed parallel to each other and held together on the ends. You filled it 3/4 of the way with sand, and then you poured in the ants, who would get to work building their colony. Ants have an incredible civilization, very interesting to watch. But what I really admired was their infinite patience. They began to build a very large and complicated labyrinth of passageways by moving 1 grain of sand at a time, digging it out laboriously, taking it up to the top and putting it in a mound. Grain by grain, they constructed their roadways and chambers. With all of them working together with infinite patience, they were able to make their home. They would journey to the top and retrieve the grains of food I sprinkled through the holes, and they would bring them down 1 grain at a time. Infinite patience. When one of my brothers or sisters wanted to irk me, they would pick up the ant farm and shake it up. For a few moments the poor little ants would be scrambling, not knowing quite what to do or even where they were. But it didn't take long, and once again they began to work patiently, restoring the roadwork that had been destroyed. I learned patience from the ants. Nowadays we don't have much patience. Waiting is something we hate to do. We eat at fast food places because we don't want to wait at a table for a decent meal. But often it's while you're waiting at a table with family and friends that you strike up the best conversations and bond with one another. But we don't want that anymore. We don't like to wait. We have emails transmitting messages across the world in a split second when it used to take weeks. There is even something called instant messenger. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it doesn't sound like an exercise in patience. We are not used to waiting anymore for anything. I admire the patience of those ants. Even when their whole world comes crashing down on them, they fret for a few seconds and then get back to work again, knowing it will be all right. They know that food will be waiting there, and they know that together they can build up their colony again. They don't seem to worry. Let's look to those brilliant little creatures and learn patience. In Oscar Wilde's most famous play, The Importance of Being Earnest, Gwendolyn says to her new love, Jack, "If you will not be too long, I will wait for you here all my life." Think about that. That's how most of us are. We don't like to wait. But the period of waiting is one of the most magical parts of our life. I love to travel, and with every trip I travel 3 times. The first time is the planning stage, dreaming about it, getting ready for it, packing, reading all I can about the place I'm about to visit. It's exciting. The second time I travel is when I actually get on the plane and go there. And the third time I travel is when I come home and look at the pictures and assemble the albums and rest with my memories. Of the 3 trips, the first one is the most pleasing. The time of waiting, the time of expectation, the time of excited anticipation. It is our times of waiting that bring dynamism to our life. That is what connects the present with the future. And that is what keeps us always in motion, always moving towards something. Waiting is a magical element of our life. Nowadays, when a young couple starts out, all too often they don't want to wait for anything. The day after the wedding, they expect to move into a house fully furnished with the best of everything, often provided by spoiling parents or by more spoiling credit cards, the debt of which they will never get out of. That's nice, but they are missing out on the magic of waiting. They will never know how special it is to start out with very little and gradually build up your home, maybe with one chair at a time as you are able. Later on, every one of those chairs, every one of those pieces of furniture, every one of those dishes is going to mean something to them because they remember the day that finally they were able to get it. They will remember the person who gave it to them, or the sacrifice it took to buy it. There really is something magical about waiting. When we come into this world, we don't fall down from the heavens into our parents' lap. There are 9 months of waiting, a very magical time of bonding between child and parents. That is the time when there is perhaps an empty crib waiting in the home. The time when preparations are made for receiving the new addition. Marriage is generally preceded by the period known as engagement, a magical period of waiting for the big day. Waiting adds so much excitement to our life. It is a pity that we have lost our appreciation for it. When Europeans come to visit here around December, the one thing they always tell me is that this country has lost the sense of Advent, the time of preparation, the time of waiting. It used to be that our Christmas season, which is supposed to start on December 24th, began already the day after Thanksgiving. Now it starts before Halloween. Everything is decorated for Christmas. Christmas music plays all over, so that when Christmas finally does come around, people are so tired of it that by December 26th, the trees are out in the alleys. We don't have an appreciation for the excitement of waiting. We have lost the sense of Advent. Our whole lives are really a period of waiting. Our life is one long Advent. But that is the charm, the magic, the dynamism of our life. That is what leads us on from the present to the future. That is what keeps us going, gives us purpose. That is what brings us to fullness of life. Let us regain the excitement, the magic of the wait. God comes. Let us wait with joy.